Looking back, it's very rewarding to think, how far I've come, over the past 5 years. My mom really worked hard to be a great parent and to raise us, being that single mom that raised my sister and I. Looking back, I appreciate it, all the things she did for us, teaching us to be penny pinchers, teaching us to be the kind, caring people, my sister and I are today. She would get up in the morning and, 4:30, out the door, she'd be on her way to work. And so for me as a kid to watch her every day in and day out, be that parent, be that hardworking mom, was a rewarding thing. So, coming from a family that we didn't have much, paycheck to paycheck for her, she was a diabetic. So really trying to balance that, needs and wants was important for her. And so seeing the struggle was, definitely part of the journey. Not saying it was a bad thing, coming from a less fortunate, background, but it really taught me a lot about life. Moving forward, getting that job at the young age of 12, 13 years old, Jim Shelton, I called him one day and said, Jim, I'd like a part-time job, being that young guy in the community. And he said, okay, come up and we'll talk. And so I did. And he gave me that opportunity to mow the grass, to clean the car wash, and do odd jobs around the store. So it was a great thing, to continue on teaching me the responsibilities of working hard. Doing those things every day, day in and day out, it was tough, cleaning the car wash and the slop in the wintertime, of all the mud and the sand. And so, I worked hard as a kid, and I think, growing that momentum was very important for me. The beautiful thing about being at the gas station was not the work, not the money, the relationships, and really emphasizing on building great relationships with the community, with the people. And that was the pride, and it is still that pride today. So after many years of building relationships, great relationships with people in the community, the Melcos unfortunately had closed in the summer of 2015. And, at that time I had been with Upper Lake Foods. I mean, it was a night job, working in the warehouse, and you don't get to see those customers every day. And so one night I was sitting at my desk and I said, I need to do this. I need to buy the gas station. So at the age of 18, I had contacted this bank and said, I want to buy the gas station. And they didn't take me seriously. Who would? A young individual, 18-year-old that wanted to buy a gas station, it wasn't going to happen. And so, I was very persistent. And wrote my offer on a napkin. Over time, fast forwarding, we had a contract signed, we had an agreement, and I was set to open on my 19th birthday. So on opening day, with the Gary story, the first day I was in there, it was my 19th birthday. I was ready to go. I was excited. I got to see a lot of great people that I haven't seen in a long time. I was welcoming them back to a store that I loved, that they loved. In a community that we all, appreciate and, care about. And so people brought cake, they brought flowers, they brought balloons. People were very excited that this store was back open, and we shared that excitement. And that was the big turning point for me to say, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Not be a C-store owner, but be involved with the community, be affiliated with the community. The opening day came, we opened up, and the amounts of support were there. And so community has always had my back. And when we talk about this campaign, now it's my time to support them and have their back. Here's myself up in front of a crowd of 1,000 people at high school graduation, being the class speaker. I gave a speech, never give a dream a deadline. A dream structured with patience, determination, and hope is a dream worth waiting for. So never giving that dream a deadline was important. And now I truly understand, that the meaning of that speech that I gave on graduation night. So when I talk about, the whole, big picture from 1 to 4 stores, 4 to 40 employees, it's been definitely a great past couple of years and taught me a lot. And when I talk about business and politics, a lot of people have mentioned that they don't mix. And for me, I would argue that. I would say business and politics do mix because, both of them, you're fighting for the people. You're working for the people. So a lot of people have asked me, Derek, what got you involved in politics? What is the interest? Where did it come from? Going back, a great lady once told me, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And at that point, I thought, there was a lot of things that needed to be changed. We could always do better. We can always do more. And so I said, I'm going to do it. I need to do this for my community. I want to do this. I plan on being Duluth for many years. And I want to see a great community, a bright community moving forward. And so that was my motivation. So focusing on our infrastructure, making sure that not only are we focusing on the above ground layer, the asphalt, but also focusing on the underground infrastructure, water, gas, and sewer. That is paramount to the success of our city. And tabling from that, we need to make sure that taxes. We cannot be taxed out of our homes. We have a lot of individuals in our community, the elderly, anybody, low-income families, that cannot afford to pay any more taxes. Raising taxes should be unnecessary, as long as the city remains within their means, encouraging business to grow here, to expand here, but also we need to make sure that we're an attractive place to move to. It seems like we're growing many of the big city problems, but very few of the advantages. We need to get back to the basics of serving our citizens. Housing is a major topic on my campaign. We need to create housing that works for every income level. For me, being in politics, being on council, I will make sure that we create a housing option that works for everybody. I think we can all agree that from east to west and even in the middle, there's failing infrastructure, crumbling roadways, potholes, and the 0.5% sales tax is intended to clean that up. As a city councilor, I will watch the 0.5% sales tax like a hawk. People are concerned. People are concerned about drugs and drug-related crimes. The focus has been plastic bags, but we need to focus on body bags. There's a lot of concern in our community of drug issues. And what can we do? We can always do more. We can do better. And fully equipping the Duluth Police Department and our fire is important. So about a year ago, after losing my mom, my world fell apart. It was a very sudden thing. It was a shock. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what to do. The one mountain you have in your life, this great, centerpiece, this lady who taught you everything, raised you, brought you into this world, and she's suddenly gone. A community really stepped up, and they were there to love me, support me, and guide me to better times. And in my mind, I feel that I'm truly indebted to them, and I owe this to them, to be that guy, to fight for them, to work hard, and always be here, and do what I can to support a community that supported me through the thick and thin. The one encouraging thing, that I take, from losing my mom a year ago is all the things I've learned from her. She was an amazing parent, always will be. And it gives me hope that I could be that amazing parent in the future. And so looking at the big picture down the road, raising a family in this community, it's important to me. And I want to make sure that I can stay here for years and years and years and raise a family and encourage my kids and their kids to stay here. But we need to make sure Duluth is going to be stable for years to come. And we can do that as long as we focus on the basics and move our city forward. My grandkids, their kids can always have a home here in Duluth. When I often talk about being fiscally responsible, my background coming from, less fortunate, which is, there's no issue there. But rubbing pennies together, turning it into a multi-million-dollar operation, balancing a $16 million budget, I've come a long ways. And so bringing that to council, bringing that fiscal responsibility is what our city needs, and we can do it. As long as we live within our means, our city can grow, can flourish, and be the best city around. And so I think maturing at a very young age was a big part of my journey, of my story. And so, do I regret it? Absolutely not. Could there have been nights I was at parties and stuff like that? Definitely I could have been at a party, but instead I was at work, until 1, 2 in the morning working. Growing up at a young age was kind of the big turning point for me, responsibility. And I want to bring that to council. Everything I learned, all the great lessons, all the life journey. I want to bring it to council and really use it for the good, to help the community, to move the community forward.